everybody, and welcome into episode number 28 here of The Mom Game. Once again, we have another really good episode ahead. We have a special guest that will be joining us very soon. But first of all, my partner, Emily Jones, in the house.
I'm excited. 28. This is when I finally started making good decisions in my life. So maybe.
Oh, gosh, I'm still not there. I'm hoping it's 40.
This is the start of it for the Mom Game. And one of the best decisions we've made so far is joining us now. You want to give a little introduction?
Yes. So last week on the Mom Game, I was talking about all the Stars excitement going on, how we were really hoping that the Dallas Stars would be able to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, which still sounds so weird to say. And Emily, they did it.
I can't believe it.
Dallas Stars are in the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in 20 seasons. And we have a very special guest joining us from the Hubble in Edmonton. Ben Bishop, Dallas Stars goaltender, is joining us here on the Mom Game. Hi, Ben.
Hey.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So first of all, just I guess, could you set the scene for us there at the Hubble for people who haven't heard much about it or haven't seen it? It looks a lot like a hotel, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's actually, Edmonton has one of the newer rinks in the league, and I think it's about 4 years old, and then they built a JW Marriott across the street that's connected to the rink. I think that opened this year. So basically the Bubble is the hotel, and it's connected to the rink, and there's a little courtyard in between, and that's it.
Yeah. So, okay. And we've heard about this, that the NBA has done their bubble. The NHL has done its bubble. I'm curious to talk to you about, guys that have been in there for a longer period of time. I mean, some guys went home after a couple of weeks. You guys are like 6-7 weeks in now. Has it taken a toll on you emotionally?
Not really. There's a couple days where you wake up, and I think this is day 54.
Wow.
Maybe so there's some days you wake up, obviously in the same hotel room this whole time. So some days you wake up and you're like, get me out of here. But there's only been a couple of those days. We have a lot to do as far as, practices and meetings, and it's kind of nice. You're kind of stuck in the bubble, but you have 30 of your best friends in there too. So you can find things to do, and there's always something going on. So I haven't really spent that much time in my room, but every now and then you get a little sick of it, but it's been pretty good.
I imagine it's really surreal just waking up in the same place and knowing the only thing that you're there for is to play hockey and to be a part of this awesome run for the Dallas Stars. So for you, when you kind of wake up and maybe you don't have somewhere you have to go immediately, what have you found is the best thing for you to kind of maybe get your mind right or just to decompress? Do you leave or do you hang out in your room? What are you doing to just kind of make sure that you're staying calm, cool, and collected and not like freaking out?
Well, we definitely get a lot more sleep in the bubble. That's the biggest thing. I think we go to bed a little bit later, and I'm sleeping later than I've slept in, I don't know, the last 5 years. So that's definitely an adjustment, getting to sleep in every day. And then we have a team room on the third floor, kind of a big conference room that has ping pong tables, 3 TVs in there, card tables, and food and whatnot. So we normally go down there and we hang out. We'll play cards, watch TV, guys play ping pong. So we stay busy down there. And then obviously we have meetings and practices and treatments and things to do. So we stay pretty busy.
Obviously, you and Julie know each other well, but I'm not familiar with your family situation. There are people, I'm assuming, that are missing you?
Yeah, absolutely. My wife and I, we have 2 boys now. We had just had one. He just turned 3 months the other day. So, and then we have almost a 2.5-year-old boy. So definitely miss them a lot. The little one, I think we were here for 7 weeks, and I think he was 7 weeks when I left. So I've missed half of his life, but he's too little now to know what's going on.
Yeah,
but
I
definitely missed the 2.5-year-old Benjamin. So he's obviously at that age where it's a lot of fun for the parents, and definitely miss hanging out with him. But we've been able to FaceTime every day and talk, and I think he's getting a little sick of the FaceTime. So, but we'll be home sooner than later, and hopefully we can bring home, a big trophy for him.
Yeah, that's what I learned traveling for work, that you thought when they were super, super young, that's when it was so hard, when they were infants. And then you realize the older they get, the more they know. And then it does become harder. And so for you, I'm with Julie all the time, and I know how hard it's been on her to have Kelly in the Hubble, and to do this solo parenting thing. So what kind of props can you give your wife at this point in time?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we both are very fortunate that both of our families are, involved. So she went up to St. Louis for a few weeks at the start of it. She hung out there. My sisters and family, both my sisters have 3 kids, and they're all young, all under 6. So they had a lot of fun up there. And then they went back to Dallas. Then my mom stayed with her for another week. And then her sister drove over with her 3 kids from Tampa, and they stayed for about a week. And then she had about a week and a half by herself surviving. And then her parents just flew over a few days ago. So we've been very fortunate to have a lot of help. But yeah, no, she's had them 24/7. So I can only imagine. Definitely feel a little guilty sometimes when I roll over and wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's something that will never happen again in your lifetime until those kids move out. That's the only
that's
time.
Why we're kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, that's the only time I get bitter, like at Kelly. Like I totally understand, and we're 100% behind him. But I'm like, damn him for getting so much sleep.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I will never experience. If so, it'll be like 1 or 2 nights, not 7 weeks.
That's one thing about when I'm not traveling for the Rangers this year, and that was when I slept, was when I went on the road. And now it's like I am struggling, as you can tell by the bags under my eyes.
Welcome to our world where we say weird things because we're like half asleep every single day. Ben's little boy, Ben, is the same age as Anna, our 2-year-old girl. And then now, obviously, he has a newborn now. And I know when Kelly tries to FaceTime us, it's kind of a disaster. Like everybody wants to talk to him, so the kids will fight over it. And then Anna takes the phone and she runs away. How is your FaceTime situation? Because FaceTiming with a 2-year-old is hard, let alone when it's the only time you get to see your kids.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time he's not even interested in FaceTiming with Daddy. He just doesn't even pay attention to the phone. He'll kind of look at it and say he actually really enjoys though when I talk to him through the Nest camera in his room.
Oh, that's a good idea.
He loves that.
Oh, yeah.
But he could care less about seeing my face now. He's kind of interested in what else is going on. But every now and then I'll get he'll give me about 10 seconds worth of,
something
real FaceTime. So yeah, no, but it's still fun to see him and talk to him. And normally he's telling Mommy to put the phone down and play with him. So
okay, so we don't have the Nest camera, but I've heard about it. So I guess they just get used to that, like this voice coming down.
The voice of God.
Like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I just did it one day as a joke when he was kind of hanging out in his room, and he loves it. So every now and then I'll get on there, but definitely not like before nap time or bedtime, just kind of mess around. And he thinks that's really cool. But yeah, I don't know. Nest camera my wife got a long time ago. We just keep it in his bedroom.
I'm gonna put those when my kids become teenagers. That's what I'm gonna put them in their room.
Get back to bed. Put your phone down.
Oh, yeah, put the phone up. Yeah,
Ben, I didn't even realize your little one was that young, and you've now been in the NHL bubble for half of his life. That's so hard, but at the same time, what a cool opportunity for you. How has it been just like barely getting to be around the newborn?
Yeah, it stinks just because he's grown so much in those 7 weeks. He's starting to giggle now and laugh, and he's probably twice his size. So definitely looking forward to holding him again.
Yeah.
But like I said, normally when they're that young, they don't really have any interest in Dad anyways, but definitely miss playing with them and just want to hold them again.
You're never going to put him down, are you, once you get home?
Yeah, I know.
Make up for all that lost time.
I told my wife, it's going to be nice to be home for about 3 days, and then we're going to be like, can I sleep in again?
It's such a weird life.
Okay, let's talk a little hockey. I mean, hey now, Stanley Cup Final. When this thing shut down, the Stars were not exactly playing stellar hockey. And so if I would have told you at that point in time that you guys would be skating for the Cup, would you have believed that?
Well, we had a long enough break there from when we were not playing so hot to when the bubble started. So I would have said it didn't really matter how we finished, that season or the regular season. And, we've had spurts during the season where, I think we started off as probably the worst team in the league. And then the next, 20 games, we were the best team in the league, and then we ended as the worst team in the league. So we've kind of been up and down, and right now, hopefully, we can end as the best team in the league, and because we're 4 wins away, and obviously going to be the toughest 4. But it's nice to give yourself the opportunity to be in this position, and we're all very excited and just looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know it's obviously so tough for you right now, being unfit to play there at this point in the playoff run. But how are you staying involved? Because I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're helping the team as much as you can. I saw a great clip after the speech in the locker room after the last game where you ran up and you were the first one to give Anton Khudobin a big hug. Just how are you staying involved with the team and trying to help?
Yeah, well, I was still obviously around it every single day, trying to practice and get back and get ready just in case. And obviously, like I said, these guys are basically brothers, and we're around each other every single day. So it's been fun to see the success that everybody's having, and just to be a part of it. I think everybody in this organization that's in the bubble right now, we're all one. So it's just fun to see the ride right now, and hopefully we can finish it off.
I'm a big looker into, that's a terrible word. I'm a big believer in stats that you can't measure. And when you talk about a team's chemistry and heart and belief and all that kind of stuff, I'm a huge sucker for all of that stuff. And it does seem like this team has a belief like no other. Getting down, it doesn't matter. Like you said, the way that you ended the season, even the way you guys played in the bubble, to before the playoffs started. Can you describe what it's like to be in the midst of that and to be a part of it, what it appears on the outside at least?
It's great. I think everybody's buying in, and that's what you want at this time of the year. Everybody's stepping up at different times, and that's what you need. And like I said, we're all here. We're having a good time. Obviously, it's a weird circumstance, but we're making the best of it, and everybody's stepping up at different times. And you just kind of chip away one day at a time, one game, and now we're in the finals. So we're obviously very happy to be here, but not satisfied yet. I've been here once before and not been able to win the Stanley Cup, so obviously be here again and have another opportunity. Looking forward to hopefully being able to bring it home.
And you're probably somebody that knows Anton Khudobin better than most people do. What have you seen from him out of this run? Obviously, I've just loved the way that you guys have always said, and the team has always said, we're 1A, 1B. There's 2 of us. One of us is there to step in when the other can't play, and now you're seeing that more than ever. What have you seen from him, and what has, I guess, his mentally, what has he been like through all of this? Because it's such a heavier load than he's used to carrying, too.
It's been great. I don't think anybody in the room's really that surprised. I mean, he had an unbelievable season. Been able to play with him for 2 years now, and last year he was great as well. And I think he led the league in save percentage, during the regular season. So he's been phenomenal for us. Especially this last series against Vegas. He was standing on his head, and it's been fun to watch. Super happy for him. He deserves all the credit that he's getting right now. And like I said, hopefully, he's got 4 more in him.
Yeah, last one for me. And I heard a radio interview with him yesterday, and he's talking about having a crawfish boil with saunas and eating crawfish in towels and drinking beer. And I was like, this sounds
Another part of the world.
The most amazing party. How do I get an invite? He's just...
The picture is hilarious.
Yeah.
And he says it's in a sauna. I'm like, we were doing all that in a sauna?
Right.
Kind of interesting, but...
Yeah.
It's a lot going on in a sauna.
Right. So is he just that, he just seems like he's got really good BS and would be a lot of fun to be around.
He is. And, he's a great guy, and I think he's kind of has this, people kind of get on him about some of his interviews and whatnot, but I think he's just kind of having fun because he's a really smart human, intelligent guy, and obviously a very good hockey player, and he has some hilarious interviews, and he's a funny guy off the ice as well.
Okay, I'll have 2 more to wrap up. Also, just have to ask you about Jake Ottinger, because he's somebody I interviewed a few years ago right after he was drafted, and he said at that point that you were the goaltender that he looked up to, that he wanted to emulate. And I'm sure there's been so many conversations now that you guys are trapped in this bubble together, a lot more than there would be in a normal scenario. So what is he like, and how has that relationship between you two blossomed?
Yeah, it's been fun. We've obviously been here now for 50-something days, and we've been able to practice quite a bit together, and he's a really good kid. He's got a bright future in this league, and it's fun to be able to work with guys that are younger, because I remember when I was in that situation, however many years ago. And I remember it was, Manny Legacy, Chris Mason, Ty Conklin, those type of guys that, helped me out. So to be able to kind of, pass on some knowledge to him, he's very eager to learn, and he's been a pleasure to work with. And like I said, I think he's got a very bright future in this league. So it's nice to kind of be able to work with him, because as much as he's learned from me, it's nice to learn some things from these kids as well.
The young kids these days.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And lastly, obviously, we're still waiting to see who you guys are going to be playing in the Stanley Cup final. Good chance it could be your former team, the Tampa Bay Lightning. What would that be like for you? And also, how weird is it being in the hotel with them?
Well, I think, we've been in the hotel. I mean, it started with 12 teams in the bubble, and then obviously worked its way down. So there's been a lot of people in this bubble that guys have played with before. And obviously, whoever we end up playing in the finals, whether it's the Islanders or Tampa, they're going to be a good team. So you can't really focus too much on who you're playing, but what you're doing as a team yourself, because you're going to have to play well if you want to win, the finals. And no matter who it is, it's going to be tough. If it's Tampa, it's Tampa. If the Islanders, doesn't really matter at that point. You just want to, find a way to win. I'm
sure, and you and Rick Bowness have nudged each other a little bit, though, just kind of talking about how weird would this be if this is the way it ends up.
It would be interesting, but like I said, it doesn't matter who it is at that point. Just
love it.
Extremely happy to be here, and you're gonna have to beat a good team no matter what.
That's very true. You've got that game face on, and I love it. That's exactly what we need. We need you guys to get 4 more wins. Bring that bad boy home. Let's put that baby in it. What do you say?
Exactly. That'd be awesome.
Ben, you're amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We so appreciate it. And I especially appreciate the tip on the Nest camera. My teenagers, once they become teenagers, will not be appreciative of it. But
it can't escape you.
I just want to know. I'm crediting you with that for sure.
Thank you so much, Ben, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Good luck.
Ben. Good luck, Ben. Well, that was super fun. Big thanks to Ben Bishop for joining us. And I thought originally we were going to have 2 guests from the bubble.
Yes, my husband was too busy to join us. I said, Kelly, you could join us. Ben could, you both can, either together or separately. You could pop in. He's like, sorry, Jules, I just don't got time to do.
Oh.
Not like that. Not in that voice.
That sounded a little British. I'm like, wait a minute. Did they
like the British Hulk or something? I don't know what that was.
Pick up an accent?
He does have a really deep voice.
Right. But
sorry, Jules. But no, I guess
he's busy.
He's busy. Like we talked about, they don't know yet who they're going to play. Right. So the coaching staff is essentially scouting 2 different teams right now as if they're going to play both of them, because then you're getting ahead of it and all of that. So I don't know. It sounds... Or Tampa Bay obviously just needs 1 more win, and that's kind of who everybody's thinking it'll be. And Ben was so funny there because Ben played there for a long time. He didn't want to talk about it at all. I mean, that's got to be crazy for him, but it just shows me they're like, even on the mom game, like his mind's in the right place.
Yeah, they're not letting their guard down. That's for sure.
I have a good feeling.
Do you? Good. So I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
So game 7, right? Was it game 7?
Yeah. Okay.
No?
Yes. Wait. What do you? I don't know what you're talking about.
The Western Conference.
The last
Finals.
game. Okay. Yes.
Was that a 7? That was a 7.
No, that was
a 6.
Yeah. No, it was 5. It was 5 games.
What's wrong with
me?
Me?
Vegas in 5 games.
Okay.
Well, it's hard because all of a sudden we haven't had that much playoffs ever. Now we have 3 rounds. We have to keep track of game 1, game 5, game 2. I'm confused.
And it's the last one.
Game 5.
The clincher.
Against Vegas.
Yes. And so I was going home from work and then got home and I kept checking Twitter to see your reaction to things. Mm-hmm. And you didn't tweet the whole game, I don't feel like. Or maybe I missed them. And
I did game 5. I was over tweeting.
Okay, there was
game 4. It was Saturday night.
Game 4, I didn't see you.
Emily.
And, what happened?
I fell asleep.
Stop it.
I've been so tired.
So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm about to text her because I'm worried.
She's not tweeting her.
She's
in the game. She might be dead.
She's in the Zen bin. Like she's way deep in the Zen bin. Like I don't know what's going on.
Like passed out on the floor by myself.
I literally was like,
that is so funny. You brought that.
Not good. Okay, so it was game 4, and I was like, I'm a little worried. And then so I get home and then I get my makeup off, scroll one more time, and I'm like, okay, she tweeted, and I'm like, she wasn't tweeting at all this whole game.
Gosh. I think that's how my mom's keeping track of me too. I mean,
so you fell asleep.
So. The weekends are the hardest for me because I don't get to go to work and have a break. And so it's just constant kid stuff. And I actually got a sitter last weekend and I went to play in a tennis tournament, which was great, but it was 4 hours of tennis. So then I come home and not only am I mentally exhausted, which I have been for like 7 weeks, but then I'm physically exhausted. And so I'm trying my hardest just to get the kids to bed. The second I sat down on that couch, my body just like collapsed. I made it until the beginning of the third period, and then I just drifted off to sleep.
Fell asleep.
I woke up, rewound, caught up, and like sent my tweet.
Yeah, you're like, okay, here we go.
I'm alive.
We did it.
But it was a wake up call for me. It was like, man, you got to get your mind right for these games, Julie. Like that was a 7 o'clock game. It wasn't even a 9 o'clock.
Now you've got time to rest. You've got time to rest for sure.
I had time to rest.
So similarly, I fell asleep last night watching a school board meeting.
Oh well.
That's
a good way to fall asleep.
Well, so Fort Worth ISD was deciding whether or not they were going to apply for an additional 4 weeks of strictly virtual learning, or if we were going to go back to school on October 5th. And so I've never listened in on one of these school board meetings. Have you ever listened in on a school board meeting?
No.
Don't
I don't have time
ever
for that.
listen in.
Why?
Oh my gosh.
Why did you do that?
I can't. So I'm listening to the Ranger game, and then so pregame I'm listening. The meeting started at 5:30. 5:30. So pregame, I've got it in my ear. I'm listening. Then I've got to pop off for the game. I come back. It's still going on.
Oh my gosh.
Driving home from work, it's still going on. Then they go into executive session, and at this point, they're going to make the decision whether or not we're going. So my life for the next.
That's all you need, though, is
going
the
to change.
Decision. Yeah.
So I need to know. So it's like. I come home, pour a glass of wine. And I'm still watching. They still an executive session, and then they come out. Apparently, I fell asleep, but I thought I'm staying up for this. Like I'm doing
because
this.
you just want it.
I want to know.
But you wanted to know why and all of that too. Why didn't you just like wake up and see what the answer was?
Well, because I wanted to hear what they said, what their reasoning was. Because my whole deal was offer a choice. I felt like a choice should be offered virtual or in class. And I feel like, honestly, the same should be offered for teachers if they don't feel comfortable coming back. I realize there's logistics involved, so I'm definitely out of my league in that regard.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so I fell asleep at midnight. I went, got in bed and fell asleep. But I had kept my phone on, like looking at the thing. Anyway, fell asleep, woke up. Mike gets up early to work out like at 4:45, 5 o'clock. Oh my goodness. So I wake up and I check, and they voted to go back to school.
Yay, Emily's.
I'm so happy.
Good. Is that 4 weeks?
I'm so happy. So it'll be 4 weeks virtual, and then we'll go back to school, and they have you have the choice of virtual or in person. And I'm just for our family, it's definitely, my kids want it. They're dying to go back. I realize it's not the best situation for everyone. Totally get that. Everyone's entitled to their own decision. But I am stoked for my kids. They're craving.
Were they excited to hear the news?
So excited. They were so excited.
Good.
So we're going back to school.
Good. It's about dang time.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll, everyone will, as we all start going back to school or continue to go to school, we'll stay, low in cases and, isolate the cases and all that kind of stuff. They're going to happen.
Well, we've had 2 weeks now where a lot of districts have already been back, and you haven't.
Yeah, longer than that.
Anything terrible.
3 and 4.
The most annoying thing, not even annoying, but the only little things I've heard is kids being sent home.
Yeah,
or if they just have a headache or a cold, where you're kind of like, really? Yeah. But they've got to do it.
If a class has a case, they've got to quarantine, and you realize that's a possibility if you go get it.
Yeah,
those are the risks you take. Totally understand.
Exactly. And it's hard to tell if someone. I mean, because kids get the cold, kids get sick. So it's hard to say. Do they need to go home or not, and that kind of thing. But it's like little problems. At least now you can go to school.
I know. I'm excited.
Well, good.
Okay, a couple house cleaning things before we go. We're excited. We have a new title sponsor.
Yes.
Gateway Buick GMC will come on board in October, and I'm thrilled that they have come on board as our title sponsor because I've been their spokesperson for the last probably 3-4 years.
I've seen your commercials.
Gateway's got it. LBJ and Jupiter, where Gateway's got it. And I've loved working with Charles and his staff at Gateway. I drive a Gateway car, and so it's a really great fit for us. So I'm super thankful.
I'm gonna need one maybe
for them. Yeah. So I'm super thankful for them in that partnership. And I'm also thankful for our continued partnership with Cutting Edge Cryo. So I went to my most recent and I had her do my measurements from before my first treatment to the last one.
Yeah.
And I lost 9 inches.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, how they do the 3 measurements. Yes. So they measure here, like right below your boobs.
Yeah.
And then like your belly button and then your hips.
Yeah.
And it's like around 3 per area.
Wow. That's awesome. I feel like I would probably be around 2, but I haven't been going quite as long.
Right. And so anyway, super grateful for them. I think we're going to try to get them get some more. They're getting some new machines or something. So maybe we'll go out there and do something at some point or whatever. But
I wasn't able to go last week because I'm just like, I have like the skeleton schedule of like, what do I have to do right now? But once Kelly gets back, man, I'm going to hand him those kids and I'm going to just maybe leave for like a week. He'll never see me.
I know. I don't blame you.
I'll go move into cutting edge cryo.
There you go. Just like set up shop in the cryo machine.
Yes.
So I'm super stoked that relationship is continuing. So if anybody else wants to get in on the mom game party, and
it's a good time.
We've also talked to a couple social media people. So keep an eye out on our social scene that should be cleaned up here before too long, and somebody will get a hold of it and whip us into shape.
No, it's good because with something like this, you never know how long it's going to last and all of that. And if we didn't have a title sponsor, like who knows? So now we know. If anybody was worried or wondering what 48 episodes they signed on, I think, which is awesome. So the mom game is alive and well and thriving. We're going to keep getting fun guests to come on.
I mean, we're 28 now. We're going to start to make really good decisions, really good rational decisions. We'll still have the occasional mom's night out where we drink too much and tell bad stories and all that fun stuff.
So we need to bring back our wine for the show, I think. Speaking of,
let's do that
next week.
Once baseball season's over, because I have to go to work after this. So once baseball season's over, let's start drinking.
Okay, how much longer do you have?
2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
Less than 2 weeks. September 27th is
less
the last.
Less than 2 weeks. And then I saw they released spring training dates today.
Did they?
Yeah. I put it in a ticker.
Hashtag too soon.
February. I felt February 12th or something like that. I'm like, geez, she doesn't even get much of a break.
It's too soon. We're not talking about it. We'll talk about it later.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about it later.
I spoke the forbidden.
No, it's fine.
Forbidden spring training schedule.
Okay, and we're getting back to as we end all of our shows. Yes. We want you to be a part of our community. We want to know what you think. We want to know who you want us to have as guests.
Yeah, we can try to make it happen, whoever it is.
Yes, all that stuff. We want to interact with you, and so hit us up on our social media, Twitter @TheMomGame1, Instagram @TheMomGame. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it. Special thanks to Ben Bishop for joining us today. So much fun to get a visit
shout
from
out
the
to Kelly for asking him to join us.
Shout out to Kelly for giving us the Heisman.
But he did supply us with Ben Bishop, who's just, the nicest. And I'm feeling for him not being able to play right now. But I know he's working so hard to get in there if he can. And then whenever this next season starts, speaking of too soon, that'll be really soon as well.
Way too soon.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there.
But next week, so much is going to have changed with the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll have so much to talk about.
So excited.
I'm so excited. Emily.
And next week we have my pastor on.
We can put it here.
The Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
That's right. Does the mom game get the Stanley Cup?
I'm married into the Stanley Cup. If this happens, then
I agree.
I get it.
I agree. Okay,
for as long as I want it.
Yes. And don't forget my pastor, Lance Marshall, coming on next week.
Okay, next week. That'll be so fun. Yeah. I've already been thinking about things to discuss with him.
Yes.
I need him. I need help. He's been praying for all of us.
Yes. Okay, all right. That's going to do it for episode 28. Thank you so much for hanging with us. We truly appreciate it.
Yep.
Until next time. Oh, go Stars.
Go Stars.
Mom game out.
Mom game out.